Hi, I'm Faith.
And I'm Neysa. And this is
Go Ladies, a podcast about navigating life, love,
and so much more
from a 40-plus perspective. Melodies from heaven, hey, rain down on me, rain down on me. You're welcome. You gonna do the harmonies?
No, you know I can't sing.
No. You heard it here first.
No, you trying to play me in front of company.
Shannon, what's your note? What's your range? Will rain down?
I don't.
No? Okay.
Okay. Before we even get started, I have a question already.
Yes.
Okay, welcome back, everybody, to the Go Ladies podcast. We have an amazing guest here, Miss Shannon Lake, half of the Brandon Files podcast. And so we're going to get to all those things in just a second. Mm-hmm. But before I have a question based on your question.
Oh, okay.
So typically in a sorority, you have different roles. Like I know I'm a step show stroll girl. I ain't never gonna lead the song. That ain't my ministry. Some folk are person coat holders. What's your role in the sorority?
Ooh, that's a great question. Mm-hmm. It depends on the day.
Okay.
And which Shannon you're gonna get. Like, are my legs feeling good? Like, am I about to
Did
change?
you stretch? Get a little official? Yeah.
It's like I'm gonna be in there, and then I'm gonna pop out.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna be the one. I'm gonna egg people on. I'm gonna cheer you on. I'm gonna be there. I will hold your purse and be like, "Let's go, ladies! You got this. We
you
good."
do it all.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay. If you haven't already guessed that Miss Shannon is a part of the best sorority in the world and the most amazing chapter in the world.
Absolutely.
I forgot.
Okay, I'm going to have to pause. Okay. Yes to that. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, share before we even get off into it. Thank you.
You keeping us on point. You keeping us on point. And you already hot. That's hilarious.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
We haven't even gotten into it.
Right, exactly.
This is my life. This is 40 plus. Okay?
Perimenopause. Got you, girl.
Yeah,
Got you.
It's real.
All right. So, Miss Shannon is obviously in town for the greatest homecoming in the world, which is
Get
geeked.
TSU. Mm-hmm. So, we happily have her on the show today because she's in town. Yay. So, thank you. Number one, thank you for coming. Thank you for being part of the festivities. So, we're going to get into your entire story, but we got to start with homecoming.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of misinformation floating around about homecoming. So, how was your homecoming this year?
Yeah. Homecoming, it was a different experience this year. Mm-hmm. I will say, I think that the audience was split a little bit because we're playing Howard next weekend. Mm-hmm. And if you have to choose to travel, I think some people are choosing the game in D.C. over the game here in Nashville.
Sense, yeah.
So it was a light crowd, but it was a good crowd.
Okay.
Yeah. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
When I went to the day party, I was like, where's everybody? Because I got there a little early, but it's like, okay. And then it picked up real good. I was like, oh, we're all here?
I was like, oh, this is what I was expecting. Yeah. But when I got there too, I was like,
yeah,
I was like, crickets.
Where is everyone?
Let me go and get something to eat real quick. You know, buy my time. Yeah. But then it picked up, and I had a really good time. What about you?
I enjoyed the day party.
Yeah.
Excellent. Tailgating was different.
Yeah. I think the construction, too.
Yeah.
The construction threw it off, for sure. I've talked to several sorors and other people. They were like, is it skewing younger? Like, are you saying... I felt like
I heard that. I heard that from a lot of people that said that the tailgate area felt like it's under 35. Yeah. You know, and I'm like...
I mean, you know, there are college students. We were them one day.
True.
Now we're the olds.
Yes.
True.
Yeah.
And so it always has been, from when we were in college on, we think it's our homecoming.
True.
But it's still their homecoming, too.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I think that TSU's homecoming is a tale of basically 3 homecomings. There's the Nashville community homecoming, you know, then there's the alumni version of the homecoming, then there's the undergrad homecoming. Yeah. Because baby girl is struggling because she's a recent grad, so her foot's in, right. She's like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, just do whatever you want to do. You know, you can pick and choose, you know? And so, but for me, I'm just like, okay, like... I'm like, this has to change. Am I becoming a glitter hat person?
You know what?
You know the glitter hats?
If you have the glitter shirt, the glitter hat, and the glitter boots.
Thank you.
All of it together.
Am I a fish fry attendee?
You might be.
I might be. I heard it was really good this year. So underneath the pavilion,
That's
like there
what I
was
heard.
shade. It was right by a food truck. It was like I saw the fish fry because I went inside a Gentry to use the bathroom.
See,
Missed out on the fish fry.
I did.
Someone else mentioned to me though, they were like, maybe the young people have always been here, but because they're so condensed, we just never paid attention to them. I don't know, you know what I mean? But I'm like, that's a thought process. I don't know.
I do feel like in years past, kind of like the Greek row section, the younger groups were towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
And now, everything
was right there together. Yeah. Oh, well. Well, there was a shooting on Jefferson Street. Some people were injured. I think one person even passed away. So thoughts and prayers, of course, to them. But I do hate when the conversation gets conflated because, yes, it's on Jefferson Street, but TSU doesn't own everything on Jefferson Street. Yes, there are people who are celebrating homecoming, but there's a lot of side businesses that celebrate homecoming too. So you can't always pin everything on the university.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's unfair. So
and the university did put out a statement.
they did. They did, trying to clarify that. It was, Do you remember Phyllis? You know Phyllis Claus Brooks?
Yes.
Phyllis Claus Brooks. She was the charge of PR and communications when I was in school. So probably shortly around the same time. She's now at ABC, but she was so very clear about this is TSU. That is not TSU. And I'm like, make it known. The property lines matter, especially when you're covering a school that's already been in the news so much.
Recently.
We need no more bad publicity. Like not even a little bit. So
I don't know. To me, it just, what's the word? Not due diligence. Just as journalists, former journalists, I'm like, because we had to fight that when we were in the newsroom.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
To say, like, no, this isn't TSU.
Right.
Yeah. Everything can't, just because it happened near there doesn't make it TSU.
West End's not Vanderbilt.
Right.
Exactly.
Does everything that happened on West End get picked by any of the other schools or anything on Music Row, is that automatically Belmont?
Absolutely. True.
There we go.
Yeah. No.
Do better.
Please.
Do better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Call us. We can help you.
Yes. So, okay. I want to get into
it.
your show and your travels. And so, to bring you guys up to speed, Miss Shannon is a world traveler. She, a lot of people go on some excursions. We go to Cabo, a little something.
We did go there.
See? But this woman has been literally around the world. And so... Okay, Lisa Stansfield.
I did find my baby.
All right.
We're getting there.
So I want to know, first, give us an overview of your travels. Kind of like how did this even come to be?
Yeah.
And then we'll get some more details about it.
All right.
Like, what did you do?
So about 2 to 3 years ago at this point, my mom found this cruise. Her and my dad were like, we're going on this 9-month cruise. It's X amount of dollars. We're out. But then they were like, but we don't know about being away from y'all for 9 months. Now, keep in mind, I don't live where my parents live. My sister doesn't live where my parents live. We grown.
Right.
We're on different coasts. But that was their concern. So we're like, say less. We want to go. And they're like, okay. My dad kind of just ignored it. It was like, they're not for real. They're not going. And then my mom was serious. And so were my sister and I. We were both serious. And they ended up gifting it to us. So blessed.
Oh, wow. And highly favored?
Yes. Wow. To have a
now I feel bad.
Inheritance.
They need some more
I feel bad. I told Maya she can't go to DC with me.
You should feel bad. Shame her. No.
Oh, man.
It was kind of like, do you want your inheritance now?
Right.
Or do you want your inheritance?
Come on now.
Okay. We're like, no, experiencing it with you means more than experiencing it in honor of you.
Right. Ooh, that's a word.
Yeah. That's going to be the quote.
So that's how we got started. Okay. So this was 9 months or 274 days, like over 60 countries, every continent. So with the caveat, Antarctica, I experienced Antarctica, but our ship was too big to actually like touch ground. So you can go on exploration cruises that will take you and you can touch and stand on the ice, but I just floated through. But that was an experience.
Did you see penguins?
I did see penguins. But actually the most penguins, I went on an excursion in Argentina. Like Ushuaia is the southernmost tip of Argentina, and I went on a penguin excursion there. And we got to see them. They were so cute. Yeah.
I wonder if they were rock hoppers. I'm a penguin nerd, so
I will have to. I can show you some pictures. I don't know. I did see. I think I saw a king penguin, and we saw all the other like little normal ones. I don't know what they're called, but that one there was one king penguin in the grouping.
We're gonna talk offline.
Yeah.
Don't hate me.
She does love the penguins though. Like it's her thing. This is very funny.
They're so cute though.
They're so cute.
Like watching them swim and waddle.
Yes.
That was the cutest thing.
She watched penguin documentaries. It's a whole thing. She on penguins.
Send me videos, so now you can.
So now I can send you some videos. Yes.
My sister went to South Africa and saw the African penguins, and she immediately sent me like videos. She was like up on them. I was like, I love you so much. Sorry.
I feel like I need my office takeaways like this, like The Office.
Thank you.
Okay.
Continue. Sorry.
So 9 months, every continent.
Ooh.
How did you prepare for it to be gone? Like, did you work while you were on the cruise? Take a sabbatical? Like, how did that even come to pass?
Yeah. So I work for myself.
Okay.
Amen.
So that's the start of this.
All right.
All right.
But actually, when we booked the cruise, I was not. I was working for like nonprofit corporate, and it was during the pandemic when we scheduled the cruise. So everything was virtual at that point. But I even had considered being a consultant and was like, let me figure out this consultancy on land before I'm at sea doing it.
Yeah.
And I ended up joining up with more groups of people. So we have a consulting group.
Okay.
And the work was able to continue with or without me because there's other people. But when you're a solopreneur, if you're not working, you're not making money.
Money, right.
So for the beginning of the cruise, I was still on main projects and was working. But as the time zones changed and more client meetings still needed to be held, I started weaning down off of the contracts and then working my way back up as the time changed. So there was like a hiatus in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because when I was watching you on IG, I was like, is she working? Like, how you gonna get groceries?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Right. How you gonna get groceries?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I want to know about love on the boat. The love boat. Like, because I'm watching, I love mindless TV. That's my thing.
Yes.
Because life is stressful enough. I need mindless TV.
You need it.
Yes.
So I'm watching Dr. Odyssey right now.
I haven't watched it yet.
So I'm watching. I'm also a Don Johnson fan.
Oh,
like,
Joshua Jackson.
Okay.
I was like, Pacey.
Yes.
Don Johnson for me. And so
Exactly.
I see all the carry-ins on. Of course, I grew up with the Love Boat. So back in the day, dating myself. So is there a lot of loving on the boat?
Yeah. What happens?
And are there upside down pineapples on the
there's
boat?
some lemon on the boat.
Upside down pineapples. Yes, they do. They be swinging, girl.
If y'all don't know about cruise ships and pineapples,
Yeah.
you don't want them on your door.
No.
Maybe you do.
Maybe you do.
It's up to you.
It's okay.
Because being on there for 9 months, though, like, did everybody have the same start and end date? Or are they coming on and off as...
Okay. So I will answer all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was like three or four different ways sort of be on the ship. So you're a full world cruiser, which was there for the whole 274 days.
Okay.
Or there was like segments that were broken up into quads. So you were there for like the Americas, you were there for Asia Pacific, or you were there for Africa, or you're there for Europe and beyond. So like those were like the four different timings that people could get on. So those were like a month and a half to 3 months, depending on the segment. And there were also 17 sailings, is what we'll call them. So they were like individual cruises where someone could get on for like 9, 12, 21 days. Okay. They had them broken up in different ways.
Got it.
So you would fly into a country and fly out of a different country because nothing was round trip.
Right.
So there were different people like joining in the community, popping in and popping out at different times.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
That's really cool. Now, I mean, this is nothing compared to the 2 Carnival cruises I've been on. But how do you keep yourself? I mean, obviously you're working, but I don't know, boredom or like what were the activities? You were working.
I haven't done a cruise, and so I always was like, "I want to go on a cruise because I thought I'd be bored."
Yeah, well,
but
it depends because like the ship I was on was like 20 years old.
Okay,
so all the amenities that you're seeing now, when there's like these floating cities, that's not what we were on for 9 months.
Okay.
We were on like a much smaller, and older, part of the fleet.
Okay.
So while there's like music, there was live music in a couple of different venues all the time. Like the Centrum is the center of the ship, and there was usually like a piano player, a guitarist, a string trio, a Caribbean duo, like a band. All of that would be in there. There's the theater where there was like live shows. They do some of Broadway hits, and there was a cast that was on board that stayed, and then there was also different entertainers that came off and on. And then there was like the Schooner Bar. There was a live piano bar style singer there. And then those were the main, sometimes by the pool deck, they'd have live music out there. So there was live music almost everywhere.
Okay.
If you like live music, then that's something that you can be entertained by. But there was also there's activities out the whatever. Like, you know, it's like if you can dream it, you can do it kind of thing. Where, I mean, it was, you know, the ship skewed older. Okay. So there was a lot of bingo. There was also bago, which is cornhole. I don't know if there's a copyright on that. Okay. On the ship, they call it bago. I know it is cornhole, but that was they had progressive tournaments. So people who were on for a long time, they would like keep winning and keep going. Oh, wow. There was rockaroke where you could do karaoke, but you had a band backing you up.
Hello.
So you could do that.
I would.
Yeah, that was really cool. To watch. I didn't participate. Okay. I joined the cruise choir. Oh, but I don't sing at the same time. I mean,
so you had service on Sunday, and you were in the choir.
It was no.
I thought you had a service.
It wasn't a religious choir.
Oh,
I mean, some of the songs we sang had God in them, but it wasn't a religious choir.
Oh, okay.
A lot of the members, though, I think, did sing in their church choir. But it was there was a gentleman. He was also the pianist that was hired to be the director of the choir, and especially for people who were on the whole time. At first, that was the only stipulation, is that you had to be a full world cruiser because it depended on when we were going to have concerts and how ready we were.
Right? Oh yeah.
So that was something my dad.
Your soloist lead before. I can see that. Okay. Yeah. So y'all actually had performances on the ship.
We did.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was fun. That sounds really cool. It was a lot of fun, and to do it with my dad.
Yeah. Even better. An awesome memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't skip your question. You asked about love.
On the ship.
So there was most people on the ship. Most people were coupled, or there were some singles, but they were not really other singles that matched up with them. You know, it was like if it was going to be love, it was probably off the ship. Like maybe you found somebody in a port. I don't know.
Got it.
Yeah. I mean, there were reports of not love on the ship. You know, like some couples who were having a hard time being in close quarters for that long. Yeah. Like they definitely should have had a professional, a mental health professional on the ship. That's what I think is missing. Okay. For not only for us, but for the crew too.
Yeah.
Like that's a long time. I know the crew are used to their contracts, but this was a whole different style even for them. Like I think they almost needed, like a grief counselor for after, because the next cruises they work aren't going to be like this. Yeah. Like we all became like family. Wow. And so they have to go back to doing their job as normal, which they've just spent a lot of non-normal times.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So you are currently engaged.
I am.
Were you engaged before you embarked on this trip?
I was not.
So is he a trip perk?
Perk. No. Was he on the boat? Because you talked about some may have found love at one of the destinations.
So that was not my story. Okay. I was like, I'm a spin the block story.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So we dated like almost a decade ago and started dating again before the cruise. But there was, the cruise was already planned. So I was going and he was staying. Okay. So he met up with us at one of the ports and proposed there.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
I like it.
It was very beautiful. Aww. But the weird thing was, it was like, okay, we're engaged now, bye. Like, he wasn't getting back. He wasn't getting on the ship. He's not getting away.
How do you keep that going long distance? Yeah. I mean, I know people that have lots of relationships, anywhere in the world, but how do you keep that going, when you really are going to be gone for 9 months?
So I think part of it was good because the expectation was there. So like, he knew when we started dating, he knew about this trip. So we'd been talking about the trip or when we started dating again, I should say. He knew the whole time, and like having friends and family support too. Like I would talk to his mom, to his sister, and like, I know I'm not there, right. But also I think we talked almost every day.
Okay.
So even though the time zones were wonky, we figured it out, and we're either talking or video chatting or something almost every day. And then he was able to get on for part of the cruise.
Okay.
So, like there was, I think we got engaged in February and the ship left in December. So that was like, I saw you in December, then I saw you in February. And then I think it maybe wasn't until May when we saw each other again.
Okay.
And then I got home in September. So it was like, I know it's coming every couple of months. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there any excursion you're like, this was my favorite excursion ever?
Ooh. I like cooking. So these are I'll say this, a lot of the excursions that we did were like my sister planned or we planned and on our own. We didn't do a lot of cruise excursions. There were some excursions that were included if you paid by a certain date and you had like a level in their loyalty program. So there was like 7 of the 11 wonders that we were going to see were included for us.
Okay.
So those experiences, they outdid themselves on those.
Okay.
Like, we got to see the Great Wall of China at night.
Oh.
And the particular section that we went to, that I think the last time that someone had done that was President Obama.
Wow.
So there was just our group. Like, the World Cruise group they lit it up, and they had performers and dancers from local communities. And that was, I had never been to the Great Wall, so I hadn't seen it during the day now, but I've seen it at night. And that's not something I think that happens all the time.
No.
They open it up in the summer, but I think certain sections are not open like that. Yeah.
That's cool.
So that was one that was my favorite. But then back to the cooking was one that my sister put together. She and my mom had gone to French Polynesia last year before the cruise, and we went back to the same cooking school that they went to. And it was nice because we were like, it was this lush and green, and you could see like the volcano behind us, and while we were cooking, and we were like in an outdoor space, and you had to flame the fire to get it to the heat that you wanted it. It was really nice. Yeah.
Well, okay. Do you have a question? I keep asking questions. I don't want to monopolize the time.
I'm just saying. I'm just checking. Well, for anybody like interested in doing what you did, like walk us through, I guess, what that looks like. Like, how do you?
Yeah.
Would you recommend it?
Yeah, that's it.
I would recommend it. I definitely think that people make the difference. So you definitely want to make sure who you're traveling with.
Amen. You can't travel with everybody.
Because my sister and I have traveled together a lot.
Yeah.
We love each other, but we haven't lived together in a room like that since we were really little. And we actually had more space than our cabin. So also, being 2 grown women now who have our own ways about things, we did really well, actually. I mean, considering all of that. The one thing that, if you're a person who needs some solitude, that's me. Yeah, I figure that out. Yeah. Because there's noise everywhere on the ship. And even, my sister is not loud, but she is somebody who, like, comes in and grabs things. And I was, like, in a peaceful moment, and her coming in and doing whatever she was doing knocks me out. Yeah. And then I got to get back in. Yeah. So that's more a me thing than a her thing, But, so know yourself to know that those are the things you need. Also, you were asking how we pack. We packed a lot of storage stuff, like solutions for like hanging things from the ceiling with magnets. Like we had magnetic, all kinds of things. Because on a cruise ship, the walls are metal. Yeah. So you can use that for extra things to get things up off the floor or to put things away. Like I think there was 4 drawers total in there.
Per person? That's it?
No, 2 per person. Yeah. Like there was like, just on the side of the vanity, some drawers. So it was like, okay, I'll take this side, you take that side. So we had like hanging cubes that you might put your shoes in normally. Yeah. We used that to like fold our clothes. Okay. Or we had a hanging, it's meant for leggings that you can roll things in. Yeah. We hung that from the ceiling. We were doing things like that to figure it out. And to pack for 9 months, I tried to think about it more of like a month. And what I would need for a month-long trip, because we had laundry services. Like there was washer and dryer that we had access to, and then also for full world cruisers, you could send I think 3 bags of laundry a week to have somebody else do it. Okay. Yeah. So
I imagine with the climate changing too, like
I
figure out wardrobe.
I needed a winter coat. Yeah. And that was like even that's only a small portion. We were supposed to be chasing summer, is what they told us the weather would be. So. You could think that you could wear mostly summer clothes, but occasionally you needed a coat. Okay. Yeah. And then as the time went on, we had friends and family who came off and came on. So we would learn, like, okay, I'm going to need this. And we would take, like, Amazon, deliver to their house, and they're going to bring it.
Smart.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Real smart.
And so, like, even in February when I met up with my fiance, I sent stuff home that I was like, oh, I don't need this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I realized I didn't dress for dinner. Like, on a normal cruise, you get dressed for dinner. I would go to the dining room just like this. Like, or maybe with my Uggs on. You know, it's like in sweats if I wanted to. That is not normal for a cruise, but at this point, everybody's like, I'm in my living room.
Yeah.
And you would see, you knew who was new.
Yeah.
Like, because they're like, oh, they dressed up for formal night?
Yeah, you do typically.
Got it.
Yeah.
You're right.
Okay.
You do.
That seems to make your luggage even more bulky. Like, I think about capsule wardrobing, like, you know, but if you have to bring formal clothes, a different outfit for every night, that's going to be...
So, there was one dress that I thought, I don't know, it was like some slimmers included in it. I was like, I'm going to wear that like once to the gala beforehand because it was super long. And then I bought this other one that was, I think, maybe a bridesmaid's dress typically, but you could wrap the top all kinds of ways. And I was like, that's going to be my dress for every formal night. I'm just going to rewrap it a different way. I wore that dress like twice, maybe 3 times.
Oh, wow.
I'm done.
But that's when you're talking about capsule wardrobe or something, that's what I would look for is articles that you either can layer easily or that you can wrap or tie so it looks like something different every time. Yeah.
Okay.
And I would say the biggest thing that I missed was getting my nails done. Like, even though they have a salon on, they didn't do what I want. Like, I like designs. I like flair.
Yes.
All of this. So in Japan and in South Korea, I found these nail malls where they had all the supplies that you could go in. And I was on TikTok looking at all this stuff. It's like, ooh, okay, I got to find this place. So I bought all this nail supplies thinking, oh, I'm going to do my own nails. Because pandemic time, I did. Like, I had a drill. I learned how to do my nails. Then I realized that's not how I want to spend my time. So I had my nails done very little, which was like weird to me. So now I'm home. I'm like, okay, every 2.5 a month, whatever, however this is going to work, I'm getting them done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. This is the first year I think I've had my nails done consistently for a whole year. Yeah. And I'm like, January, they got to take a break. I need a break. Yeah. I can't spend 2 hours in the nail shop every time. I'm like, y'all just going to be here all day. I know you're going to be there. I know.
I'm going to probably start doing my own again. Like, now that I'm home, I can choose to take that amount of time.
Exactly. Yeah. It can be your you time.
Yeah.
It can be your you time.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you've traveled the world now.
Yes.
You know, where's next? You've already hit all the continents. What's next?
Surprisingly, I have not done the U.S. Like, there's a lot of states I have never been to.
That's true.
So, that's possible. But I'd say before I left on the trip, I'd started to trying to, like, not be such a travel snob in my own head about, like, U.S. travel is travel.
It is.
But I always, like, discredited it. Just because I've been traveling from a young age, and the U.S. is what we did. Like, we traveled by car to go here. Like, I grew up in Michigan. We would drive to Florida. My sister went to college in Georgia. I went to college in Tennessee. We were always on the road. Going to a different state was, like, something that I took for granted. But before the trip, I had started, like, getting back into a mindset of, wait, that's travel. Like, we've been traveling. Even when we were on the bus going to Arkansas, that was travel.
Yeah.
So now, like, yes, I've traveled the world and there's lots more world to see. Yeah. But I think I'm kind of looking forward to being home for a little while. And I have a whole wedding to plan. So, you know, there's that.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So I need to just, like, be still for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And actually, I've only been back, like, a month.
Oh.
And I have not been still. The first weekend I was back, there was an engagement party that turned into a wedding. Then there was a dinner in Blanc. Then I went home for a quinceañera. Now I'm here for homecoming. Yeah. And
you're still traveling.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, so I haven't sat still, really.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Oh. I like that, though, with the U.S. because a lot of people do discount that. Like, and not everybody's able to necessarily see the world. But there are a lot of places in the U.S. that are beautiful, and, you know, travel is travel.
Yeah.
So
You mentioned traveling at a young age.
Yeah.
Did your parents always instill this level of travel in you?
They did.
Okay.
Yeah. And my grandmother, too. My mom's mom.
Okay.
That's when I was talking about riding on the bus in Arkansas or to Arkansas. That was with her because she was from Arkansas originally. But both my mom and my grandmother were travelers.
Yeah.
And even actually my mom's side of the family mostly. Like there was some long haul truck drivers.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Wow. I just imagine, like, culturally, how was it at different ports, or, you know, how were you treated? Did you encounter any of the things that we encounter here in the U.S. as Black women? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What was that like for you? Because I know, like, being an expat is a huge thing.
Right.
We talked about it on the show, and people were like, I left America, I'm never looking back. Did you have any of those types of experiences?
I would want to look into where I would leave America for.
Okay.
More deeply. Like there were definitely places where like, ooh, I like it here. But like politics wise, do I like it here? You know, I had to get into the place.
Exactly.
You know, it's like, would this be a place for me?
Yeah.
But I do have a friend who moved to Portugal.
Okay.
So I need to talk to her more about that too. But for the most part, I didn't have any like racist experiences until like I was like, oh, this is surprising.
Till she got to Miami, no.
Yeah, no.
It goes some news like here, you know.
It was one of those things where I was like, huh, was that what I had been gone so long. I was like, maybe that wasn't what I.
Yeah.
No, if I think it was, it was. Like,
Right.
I was like, if I even have to question it, it was.
Yeah.
So it was in Portofino, Italy, which was like one of the best days that I had off the ship. Like my friends and I, we found this little alcove beach, and we just were chillaxing there. But Portofino, like when you get off, that was a tender port, so that means that the cruise ship like docks out in the water, and you have to get on a little boat to get to land.
Okay.
So we get off in the port, and there's like all the high-end stores are like right there. And then we walked up into the city and down and around and found this alcove. And when we came back, we stopped for some gelato. And I was with like 3 or 4 of my friends. They're all white. They're ahead of me. They get helped. Like there was 2 people working behind the counter, and he's helping everybody. And then when it gets to me, he walked away. So I was like, maybe he thought the other lady was going to get me or not. Like, so then she starts helping the other people. So, because I think she thought he was helping me too. And this one, actually the second woman was Black. The other one behind the counter.
Wow.
And so I'm like, well, I feel like maybe she thought he was getting me because I was with them.
Okay, yeah.
And so then I said something to her, and I was like, well, I was here first. And then she speaks in Italian at him, and he comes back, and he does not look happy to be back. And like, you know, I pay him, and he puts my money on the counter. I didn't see him put anybody else's money on the counter. So yeah,
That happened to me at Pinkberry.
At Pinkberry.
That happened, yes.
We went to Pinkberry, and the lady helps Faith and ignores me. Totally ignores me. And I'm just like, and I didn't handle it as graciously as you did. I got a little out. Faith was like, what's going on? I'm like,
I missed the hootie hoo. I missed the memo. I wasn't ready.
I get
That's
it.
a huge assumption. Like, no, individual orders.
Yeah.
Have you been helped? Whatever language it's in.
Even my friends were like, what?
Yeah.
Like, why? What took you so long? Because they had all walked out at that point.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, he walked away.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh. So.
Were the travelers on the ship primarily American, or were they from all over?
There were a lot of American, Australian, UK. Like a lot of English speakers. Like English as a first language speakers.
Okay.
And then it depended, like when we got different parts of the sailings, different people came on. So when we were like headed from Hong Kong, I think, to, I don't remember what that leg was, but around Hong Kong, there was a lot more Asian sailors.
Okay.
And then when Euro summer is what we called it, when we started getting to Europe, because of the timing of the year and the locations, we got a lot more Europeans. And then, and Americans, like for those short sailings, because school's out.
Yeah.
So more people could be on for a short period of time.
Okay.
And then, I think Australia, there was a lot of Australians. Yeah.
Cool.
But the U.S. was probably the majority.
And how many people of color, traditional color, like as in black?
As in
traditional color. How many black folk over there? I try to do it nice, but how many black folk there?
There was I'd say there was probably about a core 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Out of how many?
Out of So the people who were
we're like 30 out of 3,000.
No,
like,
so the full world cruisers, there was about 650 or 700 full world cruisers.
Okay.
So there was about 30 of us that were full world cruisers.
Okay.
And then there were some people that we had the neighborhood. Like, we had our own black community.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And there were people who came on the ship and then left and came back and left and came back. So, like, they're still part of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So they, even though I'm saying like full world cruisers, there were people that became like, I got a slew of aunties and uncles off of this trip.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Amazing. I love us.
Yeah.
We're going to find each other.
Yeah.
And we're going to connect.
Like, my dad and my sister really made sure that we had like Kwanzaa. They had a Kinara out during the holidays.
Yes,
We don't celebrate Kwanzaa on land, but we saw the Kinara and we're like, where's the programming for it? Like, you have a rabbi coming on.
Yeah.
And you have a Kinara out. What are you doing? Are you lighting it?
Yeah.
Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And so my dad would light it every day. And then we had like our own programming. They had like self-led times where you could kind of get a space and they would reserve it for you, and then they're like, we can't support it with someone to lead it, but we can support you by giving you space. And then we had like a whole meal, and we got to talk to the food and beverage team about having like a meal for Kwanzaa, and we did that for Black History Month too.
That's dope.
Yeah.
What was the food like? I'm curious. I mean, I know you're, different ports and you can have local fare, but just on the boat, what was that like?
So there's two things about that. Yes, you think traveling around the world, you want to taste the food around the world. Yeah. But then if you also think, I paid all this for this cruise, I'm gonna eat on the ship. And I have dietary restrictions.
Okay.
So because of dietary restrictions, it was easier and safer sometimes for me to eat on the ship.
Yeah.
And outside, actually, Asia was the wonky one for me because fish is one of my allergies, and they use fish sauce in a lot of things. Oh, yeah. So I was like, you know what? I like my life. I'm going to eat on the ship where they know about these allergies already. So that was actually helpful because you get a lot of, like, customized meals, I'll say.
Okay.
But the food and beverage team, they were awesome. Like, they were one of the teams that had the most flexibility, I felt like, and were like willing to work with us and try some things. And they ended up having like guest submitted recipes.
Oh, okay.
So they even like made somebody's Cincinnati chili recipe, and like they had some other recipes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool.
So it was cool.
Yeah.
After a while though, probably month like 7, 6 or 7, I started eating off the ship more. Like once we hit Italy again, I was like, I want to try arancini from Sicily. Like, it's like,
right.
Yeah. And actually Europe does really well with gluten-free because that's the other dietary restriction.
Okay.
So when we hit Europe, I was like, I don't need y'all anymore. Like,
right. I can go outside.
Yeah. And get some different flavors. Because that's one thing, like, even though their chefs, they do a good job, the flavors are the same ones for that long of a period of time. And it's not my flavors. Like, do I really eat that much variety at home? Probably not if I looked at what I eat monthly.
Yeah. Right.
But it's my flavor.
It's your flavor palette. Yeah. I said that about downtown. Even this weekend, I was like, downtown food, downtown Nashville is designed for tourists. And you all come with a different palette. And so it's very bland to me. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you go out to other places around Nashville, you get great food. But downtown, where it's tourists, you got to cater to a neutral palette. So, I have a very important question.
Okay. VIP.
No.
I was like, do I need this for this?
Yes, no. Because the black woman, we plan our hairdo around travel. I got my homecoming braids in right now. That'll last me for Howard and TSU homecoming.
There you go.
Some fine braids. So, who's doing hair on the ship?
So, that was one of my, 3 years ago when I say we started planning this. I locked my hair pre-trip. Because I was like, let me figure out what lock life is like on land before I figure out lock life on the ship. So, I maintain my own locks.
Okay. You retie everything yourself. Okay.
I got them installed by someone and went maybe twice after that, and then ever since then I've been doing it myself. But there's a salon
Y'all saw that shade? There's a salon.
On the ship.
Right.
Yeah.
And their services do not cater to our hair.
Of course not.
But when you have a sister like I do, she's going to challenge them.
Mm-hmm.
And we found a way that the salon manager was able to price out some braids because there was somebody who worked in the salon as a nail tech who at home in Jamaica was trained
Come on.
she's a beautician.
Yeah.
But she became a nail tech to work on cruise ships.
Wow.
And so Brandy, my sister, she went and talked to them and was like, look, I've got the hair. Because she came with a bag of hair.
Come on.
And so they figured it out, and she was able to get her hair braided on the ship. But then also, my mom can braid. Like, my mom can do my sister's hair.
Okay.
And so she had wigs. She had everything with her that it needed. But then she also got her hair braided in, was it South Africa? I think. At one of the ports.
Okay.
Because we ended up circumnavigating Africa. Like, that was not on the original itinerary. But so we were like, now, which port do you want to use your time to go get your braids done?
Mm-hmm.
But it was like after that port, I don't even remember what port it was, but her and like all the black women who worked on the ship, you saw everybody's fresh braids after that port.
I know that's right.
We will make a way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was, and then there was people, like there were some of, like I said, we gained aunties that were natural. And they had their products with them. Like I use a lot of black owned products. So that was the other part of packing, is that I wanted to pack my black owned products. Because I was like, can I find deodorant around the world? Sure. But can I find the brand that I use? No. I know I can't.
Okay.
So there was, but actually I packed too much of it. I didn't consume as much as I thought.
Okay.
So that was the hard part to know. I don't know, you know. And then I'm trying to think of what else hair-wise. Yeah, watching Brandy's journey with her hair was probably more... Mine was pretty easy for me because I knew what to do.
Yeah.
Okay. So you and your sister have a podcast.
We do.
And did the podcast come into fruition preparing for this trip?
No.
Or does it come on the trip?
It was before the trip, but it was like the timing of it. People have asked us, because both of us have traveled, like from a young age, and then just we both are travelers. And people always ask us about our trips and like what's happening, where'd you go, what'd you do, how'd you do it. And so I was like, we just need to do a podcast. Like I'd wanted to do a podcast for a long time, and nobody would bite. I would say it to like everybody, anybody who would listen. I was like, podcast? And so finally, Brandy was like, okay, I'll do it. Perfect. And so that's how like season 1 came about. And ours, travel is always like the undertone. We talk about all kinds of topics, but somewhere in there, there's this travel story or a travel undertone. And then for season 1. Then season 2 was more about the cruise, because we became, I don't know what, influencers? I don't know. I don't know what you want to call it. Content creators. Yeah. Yes. As a result of the cruise, we got a large TikTok following. And so we started just doing TikTok lives, basically, instead of, like, we recorded them, but the recording didn't go up anywhere. But if you caught us on live, that was our season 2. Was like, okay, we're going live together as Brandon Files. And then we'll see we don't know. We haven't talked about season 3.
So where can people find you and follow you?
For me, I am Shannon Lake. My name on Insta and TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Brandon Files, that page is
not worth following right now. I'll just be honest.
That's really?
Yeah. I was like, no, I appreciate you trying to put the plug in. But I was like, if you follow me, then you'll find that one will be promoted at some point. Yeah. We go, depending on how season 3 is working out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you guys going to start offering your own tours? Is that in the works?
I know. Have your own company.
Brandy. She is working on doing like hosted trips in Africa.
Okay.
So I don't know the full details yet. And I don't think it's a problem for me to say it, but I know like.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Coming soon then. Coming soon. Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
That's important. I think people don't know, a lot of times you don't know where to begin, where to start. You want to travel, but what does that look like? And you do have the groups. People, I know a lot of like Black groups that popped up and, feeling safe, comfortable. Who do you trust?
That's it.
That vendor.
Yeah. I'm not a world traveler. Let me throw a yet on that. I had kids young. I had no money. You know what I mean? So we just didn't do that as a family. And even when I was younger, we just didn't do that as a family. However, when I think about traveling, sometimes I'm like, you know, you see so much, you know, I don't want to let fear rule that because I am going to Japan next year. But when you think about it, I'm like, I love to go with somebody who's already knowledgeable. So that way, and Black and knowledgeable, you know what I mean? Who can understand the nuance of what traveling while Black is. And so I think that's why like Sister Ventures and Noir, they have, you know, different travel tours, and your sisters, you know, travel, you know, getting one together. I think that's makes the experience, especially for Black women. You have to feel safe and seen, you know, and that's always a good thing. So.
Like even on the trip, Brandy made, I don't know how many, there was like 10 of us from this cruise that got off. There was these things that they call independent journeys, which is basically when you leave the ship for an extended period of time and do your own thing. So we got off in Mumbai, India, and we joined back up with the ship in the Seychelles in Africa. So in between there, we flew from Mumbai to Addis Ababa in Ethiopia, and we stayed with family friends in Ethiopia and got to tour there. And then we left from Ethiopia to Zimbabwe and Botswana, and we did game drives, and we got to see the countries, and we got to see Victoria Falls. And this was all planned by my sister. So like she's been doing this. Like also like her 30th birthday, we went to Jamaica, like we went to Cuba, like all with her being the person, the front runner of like working with these tour companies and figuring out these relationships. So
we need to tap in.
Right.
We definitely want to support.
Yeah, definitely.
So I will, when I know, I'll let you know.
Thank you. Thank you. No, seriously, because I do want to travel more. Like you said, I'm trying to get into even the day journeys. Like, where can I just go? Like in the car, get there, spend the weekend, and come on back. You know, just something to break up the monotony.
And she's a soror too.
Oh,
even better. Say less.
That's all we need to know. That's all we need to know. Okay. What else you got? Anything?
That's it.
Okay.
Tell people what you want me to tell them.
You can tell them.
Okay. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share. We're on all the platforms where you listen to podcasts, and we're on YouTube because we cute.
No, but seriously, thank you. We've been in the DMs like, you should come on the show. And then running into, I mean, literally, y'all, I ran to her at the day party and was like, what you doing Sunday?
And I was like, nothing.
Look at that. Yes, thank you.
Then I ran into her and was like, guess what? We got a guest on Sunday.
On the show. I said,
on Sunday. Yeah, so it's going to work out perfectly. The power of HBCU homecoming. You can get all the things together. Yeah. So thank you again. Let us know how we can support in any way. Yes. And we are happy to. And then we'll also, of course, tag you in everything that we do. So y'all can see her, follow Brandon Files and all the good things, and get to know her sister too.
Hello.
So, thank you guys for watching.
Thanks.
Bye.